getting ready just for the bagel to share with some fantastic words of Torah. The third Parsha actually in the book of Bereshit in the 5 books of Moses. So let's get this underway. I've got a coffee ready, and as we do usually, we try to have a short burst of inspiration while showing over some words of the Torah. Now, we obviously came out last week of Parshat Noach, where we learned all about the Tevat Noach, the Ark of Noach, respectively, and I've already said a blessing on the coffee itself. But now, Parshat Lech Lecha, the third Parsha, we're going to learn all about Abraham's mission. And in fact, his name was Avram originally. It will become Avram later on, as the reading, let's just say, progresses. Now, Parshat Lech Lecha, we see Avram and his mission, all about it. We are told that on their journey, both Abraham and Sarah took with, I'll say in inverted commas, the nefesh that they made in Haran. This actually is coming from chapter number 12, verse number 5. Which what does that mean? So first of all, Rashi, the great commentator, it means like that people they converted over there, people they brought to monotheism, to believing in God. So already at that point in time, the question is exactly, what was Avram's message to the world at that point in time? So let's explore an encyclopedic and a dictionary definition of Abraham, or as we call him, Avram Avinu, the great rabbi, is that he is the one who taught monotheism to the entire world. He was the only one who believed in one God, and he introduced that to the entire world, which, having at that point in time forgotten Noach and Adam Arishon, Adam the first, and their occurrences, obviously there were great people in between. The world was bereft of monotheistic values at that point in time. However, this definition is imprecise for several reasons, let's just say. Firstly, there was Shem and Eber. Who were they? That was Noach's son and the great-great-grandson, respectively. They ran a Talmudic academy, a yeshiva, and we learned about that. The various midrashim will teach us. And that's going to be the place where Yaakov learned for 14 years. Now, secondly, Noach and Avram, they lived at the same time for 58 years. And there was another great rabbi, ancestor of Noach, was Methuselah, who lived, I believe, 969 years. That was also at the time period of Noach. Remember, Noach, that was about 600 years of Noach's life. So, and also Noach, I think, at a window of time would live with Adam Harishon for 243 years. Thus, the world was not empty before Avram Avinu, of the belief of one God. Moreover, the origins of idol worship did include the belief in one God, though they erred, let's say, in the sun worship of his agencies, i.e., for example, the sun, as if they had their own independent powers. And we have to look at Hilchot Avodat Kochavim inside the Rambam with regards to that, chapter number 1, with regards to that. Now, taking all of this on board, what exactly did Abraham introduce that no one else had done? Now, the answer given is taught through a true story which illustrates the uniqueness of Judaism. This is actually what I've heard from Rabbi Daniel Fine of the United Kingdom. He's a rabbi there. In the 20th century, there was one time, there was a Polish government which had several, let's say, self-hating Jews in it. Now, we see in every country, even in modern day, unfortunately, people that aren't that kindly to Jewish people, and they are from the same belief in and of itself. Now, the prime minister at that time was not Jewish, but he was respectful of the Jewish faith. These Jewish ministers, they wanted to belittle their religion in front of the prime minister, and thus cited several different Jewish laws, obviously we call that halachot, about insignificant actions. For example, the way one must put on their shoes. For example, right, left, tie, left, the right, and cutting the nails. Now, the Polish prime minister at the time responded, "I think your religion is amazing if it can even find meaning in actions so small as cutting nails." This is the uniqueness of Avram's, as opposed to Shem and Eber's teachings. Avram Avinu, he taught that a religious system must be expressed as far into the physical world as via the fingers and the toes. Avram has the gematria of 248. That's the number of the limbs in the body. Now, Shem and Eber, two great people, on the other hand, taught a lofty spiritual system, but not its connection to the physical body and the physical world. This is, let's say, moored in their methods of teaching too. Now, Shem and Eber, they taught privately to individuals who would make the journey to their yeshiva, whilst Avram and Sarah, went out and taught to everyone possible. For Avram's Torah is a connection between the spiritual and the physical worlds, and thus how it must be reflected by each and every single person at that point in time, and aspect of the physical world. But Shem and Eves, their Torah was more disconnected, you could say, Torah. It was taught to individuals who would make the commitment to come to them and thus remove themselves of their physical surroundings. Now it says, just in parenthesis, that Jacob did not sleep when in Shem and Eves Yeshiva. This actually, Rashi will bring this down in chapter 28, verse 12, in the book of Bereshit. For that was the Torah of the severing from the physical. Similarly, it says that the idolatrous population wanted to take Avram's life away, but there is no such desire recorded regarding killing Shem and Ever. Now why over there? For it was only Avram's teachings at that stage in time that threatened the people and, let's say, their values over there. For he espoused the reflecting of the spiritual in all aspects of the physical world, but they were unthreatened by Shem and Eves Yeshiva and their teachings. It is important to note that there exists the other extreme too. Now, Peor, what is Peor? It was a form of Avodah Zarah, idolatry, whose worship included, you don't want to state this here inside the place, but we'll have to say excreting in front of the idol. Now, we spoke about this, I believe, in Masechet Sanhedrin, I think it was around page number 60 time, which we learned about 8 months ago. Their idea is to show that even the lowliest physical act can manifest godly service, which at the same time is a complete removal of sanctity and respect for their power. Now, Judaism is not as extreme as that. We are not allowed to think Torah thoughts, obviously in the bathroom, for example. But we do then thank Hashem afterwards. We say the blessing afterwards, Asher Yatzar, when we are clean, and thanking of the ability of using the bathroom. This entire idea is encapsulated perfectly, let's just say, in a showdown meeting between no less than Shem and Abraham in this week's Parsha. Now, Rashi in chapter 14, verse 18, quotes the Gemara in Masechet Nedarim, page 32. I remember we recorded this video, I think it was in Jerusalem or something. We're talking about nearly 2.5 years ago. Okay, so it relates over that Melchizedek was in fact Shem. They were the same people. Now, after Abraham wins battle and rescues Lot, he meets Melchizedek, Shem, described as a Kohen, Lekel Elyon, the priest to Hashem above. And he is going to give a blessing to Abraham, calling him Baruch Avram, Lekel Elyon, Koneh Shemayim Ba'aretz. Blessed is Abraham to Hashem above, who fixes, acquires heaven and earth. The difference is that in conjunction with Abraham, Hashem is described as both above in heaven and down on earth. He's reflected, just to say, in that terminology. While adjoining Hashem, he is only described as Hashem above. Why is this? Well, this is a product of the above discussion regarding differences between the messages of Shem and Abraham. Abraham taught that Hashem was in heaven and controls, and indeed must be reflected by earth, whilst Shem's message was only of focus upon Hashem, as Kel Elyon, that Hashem is above in heaven, in Shemayim. Now, wishing you all a fantastic Shabbat and just a greatness, enjoy a Shabbat Shalom. I've got this actually from Rabbi Daniel Fine. I think in his article, which he gave on the Torah portion, he actually says he got it from Rabbi Tatz and Rabbi Moshe Shapiro. This excellent thing. Now, we're recording a lot of great videos on many different Torah topics here on this series. We do weekly Shabbat table Torah portion video of inspiration every single week. So I'd recommend everyone to watch over the previous videos we already did on Bereshit and Noach on this cycle. We also record daily tidbit videos on Daf Yomi every single day, so that's not to be missed. Also, fantastic content over there. We do tours all over Israel on the channel. We like to explore the various different archaeology of Israel, so please subscribe to the channel now. We've got great Jewish wisdom and so on and so forth. Also on this channel, we're like an online encyclopedia where we are trying to explore the history of great rabbis of various countries, especially Ottoman countries, North African countries, Asian places, even Ethiopia. We are really trying to get the science behind what went on in all those different areas over there, so I recommend everyone to watch it. And another new project that we're doing at the moment, we're exploring the Jewish history of many of the different smaller countries across the world. Who were the great rabbis there? What was the history behind all the countries, and so on and so forth. That's another project that we'll work on at the moment. So please join. Wishing you Shabbat Shalom and take care. Thank you for watching.